Alrighty, so for our Thursday items for our week 5, I'm going to go over them. So we're going to continue the Bootstrap course that we had started, and there's 2 videos this week. And I'm just going to go ahead and click into here because I've written some instruction that I just want to make sure, and it should feel very much like what I've been doing before. And so what you're going to do is first you're going to code up all of this first video, okay? And at the end of it, you have a commit message, salt, and you name that code along with Bootstrap navbar, okay? I will tell you, when I did this, I had a little bit of a hard time getting my navbar part to show up. He had it as light, and in my browser, maybe my whatever, it just wasn't showing. So I used the dark setting that he ended up showing later. The other thing is, in your code, do know that if you just want a div and you want a class of, let's say, modal, you can actually just do that and tab, and it will create that for you. So it gives you a much easier way. And I think we may have covered this, depending on you all haven't by this time gone through the content where I actually had you learn how to code better. But that is part of this cheat sheet. And it just is a really great way to learn how to code faster, and it'll help you keep up with his coding. So do know that that can make, and I use that several times here, right? Especially as he was typing along pretty quickly. And you can use some of your own content, but make sure you've outputted what he had here. Okay, so first you do that one. And then on the second video, there's 2 topics that he does, which is alerts and modals. And as I was going through this just now, I thought, why am I having you do this? Because alerts are really for stuff that you use for programming, and modals are similar. And the reason I'm doing it is that when you learn basically how Bootstrap works, you can learn anything about Bootstrap once you understand the basic logic of applying styles and other attributes to make things work. Okay, so as you're doing this, and he does a little talk at the beginning here talking about that idea of why, how you use alerts, but I want you to be thinking in the back of your mind as you're doing this, really what you're doing is learning how Bootstrap is set up, okay? Just keep that in mind. So at the 11:56 part of this video, stop right there, do a finish Bootstrap alerts, okay? And then, so that's a commit message, right? So you do your add, your commit, and then you continue on. Okay, so then you continue on, and then you finish, when you get to the end, which is to finish the Bootstrap modals, then you complete your GitHub workflow, right? And you give me a link to your commits. Now, I'm actually going to show you, because if I do this, oh, sorry, that, there we go. I'm not sure why that didn't work, right? So now that I've done my commits, I'm going to do my last one. I'm going to do git add star git commit -m finished modal, or Bootstrap modal. Okay, and then I'm going to do a git push. Okay, so now as that stuff gets pushed out, let me go, because this is, I can't remember if I had you do this last week, so I apologize if this is a repeat. But if you take any of my other classes, you'll get used to this style. What I want you to do, go to your private repo, navigate to your directory. I think I did have you do this now that but if I didn't, go to that Bootstrap, right? And here are the files. And then what you do is you click on history. Now, why do I do that? Because it actually shows me, yeah, looks like I might have been missing one. So you should have 3 commits here. So you come up, copy that, and that's what you submit, right? When you go to submit this. Now, again, you don't see the submit here, but when you hit submit assignment, that's what I want you to give me. Okay, so 3 commits on that work. All right, let me scroll back down. Week 5. All right, 2 more things here. One is that one of the things when he was doing this that he didn't talk about, and that's okay, because I think it, and I'm pretty sure Todd has a whole section about this, but I at least want you to get introduced to this concept. So, one of the attributes that he was using was for accessibility. Okay. And so I want you to watch this particular video. It's pretty short. It's like 8 minutes and it's a little bit older, but it still is very relevant because this is still something we use in HTML a lot, which is these attributes. Now, if you want to know more about them, just search for, and this is how I got here. And this is a good article on the MDN. Now, MDN, which is Mozilla Developer Network, is a amazing resource. Trust me, the more you do work on the web, the more you will know about this. Because if you want to know about something, you come up and this is just a kind of an overview article about ARIA itself. But that's one of the things that, and actually Rob, I think this is Rob. Let me see, because I actually have met this guy. He works at Google and he's really a fantastic guy. Oh, they don't give him credit on the writing here. That's too bad, but that's okay. I'm trying to remember his name. But he, like I said, this is a little bit older, but I think it's one of the best I've seen for giving you at least a broad understanding of what these attributes are and why we should use them. Universal accessibility is really, really important. And we really don't, I think, do a good job on the web, but I think we're starting to do better. Okay, so here's what I want you to do is watch the video, go find some content either through links, sites, or web pages that describe one part of what he's talking about here or other related accessibility topics. Really, I'm good with either one. And just and this is a little like not hands-on, but at least it gives you the idea of when you were doing the lecture this week, if when you see that ARIA attribute, because I think he does it like twice if I remember, and he doesn't really expand on it, you now have a better understanding, hopefully after doing this, what that means. Okay, so let me go back so I don't have to scroll all the way back. And now, and it didn't send me back. Okay, it did here. Okay, so that's the hands-on in the lecture. The last thing is on the current topics is I want you to review, and I will just go over it briefly here, the Project Zero requirements. Okay, so they're actually in week 9, and I haven't opened up week 9. So what I'm going to do here is actually just show them to you in another tab. I have it right here. Okay, so what you can do here is if you want, you can stop the video and read through this, or I'm going to just kind of briefly walk through this. So what you're going to do, and this is the next part. So like we're on week 5, and now starting after this week, every week we start working towards this project. So one of the things that's very common that students do is they look at this and they're like select 20 topics. Now, in the past, I've generally required students organize these topics from the lectures we've gone through, the hands-on, and the current topics. But because of student feedback over the course of the last year or so, I've decided to also open this up because many folks want to do maybe their own site, their profile, their portfolios, whatever, their topics that they're interested in, right? So in this case, what you'll do is you'll select 20 topics that will eventually become 20 pages of a website. Now, first thing you might think is, oh, that's a lot. Well, part of it too, especially if you're using content from this site, you can copy and paste a lot of the content. You can see here towards the end, I start talking about how much writing you have to do. Okay, and there's really only the front page is only really the only place I make you write a little content. The rest of the 75 words can come from other places. This is where often if you are choosing to do something that you're interested in, you're going to have to find that content or write it. But So it's 20 topics that ultimately becomes 21 web pages, and when that includes your index page. Okay. Use 5. Okay, so menu. So what happens is, based on the topics, you have to organize these in the menus. Now, we saw the beginning of a menu this week, right? I did something because I'm thinking I might redo my project site. It's a little bit older, but I might not. But this idea is the menu, right? So you set up menus that then link to those topics organized. And again, we're going to be working on this. So reading this the first time, again, it's perfectly normal to think, oh my God, right? But just know that it is something. And I've had many students get through this, say this was a good experience for them. So just know that that's true. Right? So this is what I was talking about. If you do a topic of your own life, which is an alternative, which is totally fine, or something else, right? Then you have to choose those menu items. But I want at least 4 or 5 menu options organized around whatever topics you choose. So then every topic will have a page on your website. Okay, and they will be organized into 4 or 5 categories. This is just repeating basically what I'm saying here. You'll have, matter of fact, if I remember right, I need, let me see, GitHub.io. I think this is this is the site I've done in the past. So this is my own personal one. I did work, I did life, and then within them, I had multiple pages. So these are my categories, right? And then my categories got broken down into other pages, okay? So that's what that means, right? So, and then each page, you have to have some content, 75 words from either stuff that you've gotten, right? And an associated image. Each page needs a unique title. That's up here in the top. Matter of fact, I think I actually need, say my life, work. Oh, I missed it on that one, so I got to fix that one. Oh, wrong one. So come back here, right? And then all content must be updated. And here's what I mean. And this is what you're going to see starting next week. Is we're going to end up choosing template sites built on Bootstrap. And you're going to see us start looking and finding a template for you starting next week. And that's why learning Bootstrap this week will help you understand that template next week, okay? So you're going to, and what I mean by this one is that you have to update all the content on the page, because what happens is it's a template site and they give you some predefined content that you then have to update. Okay, keep going to the wrong one. All right, so this is the repeat of at least the main page has to have 200 words of content. You're going to upload this to GitHub Pages, right? And then you're going to, in your comment, you're going to grade yourself on this. Okay, so again, there's my overview of that. Here's what I want you to do for this assignment for week 5 is, now that you've done that, right? Now that we've talked about it, right? Talk about any questions that you'd want me to clarify, right? Or what you think you might do as far as what is your major topic for Project Zero, right? Now, as usual, you write 150 words about this. Again, it can include questions, or it can just include comments of what you're going to do, or really, I'd prefer both, right? And if you have no questions, like, yeah, I understand what this is, right? And I got this. No, that's great. And if you don't, right? Or if you know what kind of site you want to do, I would prefer to see both. But if you have no questions, then, focus here. All right. So again, the reason I don't show that, but I will just show you here, it is the last thing. I'm going to scroll all the way to the end. It is the last thing we have to do in this class. Okay. It will be due that last week. You can see October 8th. We can look at that date, but that's when that last topic is due. Okay. All right. Week 5 in the can. Talk to you later.